Rebel says Dyson has been brilliant, player of the year. And that was a theme that was, again, trending on X last night. Everyone kind of arguing over who should be player of the year. I mean, Nicholas Kuhn's got 17 goals, 12 assists. Maeda, 18 goals, 8 assists. Even Arne Engels, 9 goals and 10 assists. I mean, who would you have at the front of the queue for this season's player of the year?
Well, I see where you're going. It's very difficult to make an argument for anybody. I mean, I don't know if you're going Celtic's player of the year, Scotland's player of the year, and I'm being facetious because it's very difficult to make an argument for anybody outside Celtic, given that they're sitting one trophy in the bag already, 13 points clear with 13 games to go in the league, completely dominant. Just for argument's sake, I think that Eagleman will feature in the debate. Nico Raskin will feature in the debate.
This is going to sound bold, right? And I'm being a bit mischievous. But see if Dessers finishes with 25 goals.
Cyril Dessers isn't even going to win Player of the Year for strikers named Cyril Dessers. So we can leave that out of the argument. But yes, it's very difficult to see it, and nor should it really go anywhere but Celtic, because they have been the best team. They're miles out in front of everybody else. So but the problem that the Celtic will have, and this is what happens, is that especially with the players' vote, there'll be guys in the dressing room that are going to vote. You know, I've decided that it'll be a Celtic player, but that Celtic vote is then split into different chunks because there are 3 or 4 in that the Celtic setup right now that would be outstanding candidates. So their share of the vote will be split accordingly. Whereas somebody like Eagleman at Rangers, if you've got a constituency of Rangers supporters inside dressing rooms, they're very likely that they'll all vote for either Eagleman, Raskin.
Yeah.
Whereas Celtic, the Celtic side kind of will get split up a little bit more. But if you're asking just in terms of who deserves it, I'm a great one for Cal McGregor, because there's a reason that Celtic are so consistent. It's because their captain is so consistent and because he's a leader. And you take him out of the team, Celtic aren't the same team without him. So, yeah, I get it that he's maybe not the kind of flashy, headline-grabbing performer week in, week out. But then you've got to take into account the amount of goals he scored at the start of the season. Yeah. When he really, you know, when maybe Celtic weren't clicking just as well as Brendan Rodgers might have hoped, it was McGregor that was leading from the front. He was, you know, they were screaming them in from 30 yards into the roof of the net all over the shop. I will always mount an argument for Cal McGregor just because I think he's a master of his art in the middle of the park. And that all said, if I was going to vote just now, I guess I would probably say Nicholas Kuhn, just because in terms of the numbers, the way that he's gone about it, he's been so impressive. He's come on leaps and bounds from the player that arrived at Celtic 18 months previously, or just over a year ago. I think he's probably been the most impressive. Maeda, of course, and I keep coming back to Cal McGregor, but if you're asking me to take my pick, it would be Nicholas Kuhn. But I do think that in terms of the overall, and then you've got Big Dalby at Dundee United. I'm sure he'll feature, and he should do for his goal-scoring exploits. He should come into the mix. But I do think Eagleman and Raskin have made big contributions, and Hadji. Although you would say that, you know, Hadji had to spend the first, I don't know how many months of the season playing for Rangers B team, didn't he? Through no fault of his own, it must be mentioned.
Aye. I mean, a lot of love for Maeda in the comment section. McGregor is our most important player, but Dyson can't be replaced for what he offers the club. John here saying Dyson is an invaluable member for Celtic. He's just as well as contracted till 2027. Time to extend his contract again. And Marzuno chiming in again says even Cameron Carter-Vickers walking it.
And you could make an argument for Kasper Schmeichel.
Aye, you could, aye.
But I think what you would have to say is, and this is where it's a shame for the kind of the goalkeepers and the centre halves, is that you look at this Celtic side, you don't say, oh, fantastic defensively. You're Celtic are all about what they're producing going forward in the final third, and you know that's where the headlines are grabbed. That's where the man of the match awards more often than not are handed out. And you would imagine it'll be middle to front where you know when the individual awards are selected and voted for. I would imagine it'll be, you know, Maeda, Kuhn's, and just my own personal preference, and the whole thing will always be Callum McGregor in terms of what he does. I love a good central midfield player.